Hey guys, welcome to Beauty Pop. I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Victoria.
I always like to make you do that, like a cheesy intro, because, it's very NPR.
Well, our voices
of
are
us.
different, right? So we have to at least help new people establish who they're hearing and all that jazz.
Speaking of voices, before we even get into what we're going to cover today, because it's lots of fun stuff, we know each other because we were talk radio sisters for a long time. We still are. Now it's just on a podcast, and we get to have fun, not talk about all the serious stuff going on out there. But this week that we're doing this podcast, Tulsi Gabbard has made a lot of news. And one of the things that is so funny about her, Victoria, is her voice. Have you noticed? She has the deepest voice for a girl.
She does.
Hi, it's Tulsi. And I don't know why. It's caught me every time I've listened to sound bites of her talking this week. It has made me laugh. And I actually tear up a little bit because it's just kind of startling because she's this beautiful woman. And then you hear, hi guys.
Yeah. It's funny. The only time I've ever heard her speak was when she ran for president. She was a presidential nominee was it 2016? I don't know what year it is.
It was just, it was the last time. It was 2020 actually, right? On the Democrat side, everybody was in.
Yeah, that's how long. I don't even. That's how
it all blends together.
Years. Yeah, and I do remember her having a lower resonance in her voice. But it's funny, I haven't heard her speak since.
It's like
she's not on my radar. Yeah. But you know what though? The truth is like my biggest insecurity growing up was my deep voice.
Me too, actually. And mine isn't even that
deep voice.
I know, but I used to always feel like it was weird. We're strange as teenagers.
My mom literally has a voice crush on you. Like
really?
For 6 years we did morning radio together, and my mom was like, I could just listen to Jennifer talk.
Let me tell you, I was so embarrassed about my voice. I couldn't even listen to myself recorded for years. Even when I started in radio, I couldn't hear myself. I would be, as a little kid, working for my dad, and he'd put me on the radio every once in a while, and I'd say like 2 words, and then I'd run. I couldn't handle it. Oh, it freaked me out.
The truth is, like, of all female radio hosts, you absolutely have my favorite voice.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
And I'm not just saying that because we're friends, but no, seriously. Every time I listen back to our podcast or when we were doing the show together, I didn't even pay attention to what you were saying. I was literally just listening to the tone of your voice. You have such a natural, amazing voice.
Thank you.
I that was my biggest insecurity for so long. And the irony is that, like, hello, I ended up in radio. I mean, when I was
but your voice
kid,
cuts through. This is like the Mutual Admiration Society, and I promise we're going to talk about beauty in a second. But this is, I mean, seriously, your voice cuts through.
Well, do you know, like, mean kids and even some girlfriends who weren't being mean? They were like in high school, whatever. They're like, you sound just like Jodie Foster. I'm like, oh.
That's not what a 12-year-old wants to hear usually.
No. And when you're a high school girl, like,
you're like, tell me Britney Spears.
Yeah. I didn't want to sound like Jodie Foster. So that was, and I had such a hang up about my voice that when I got my first cell phone, I didn't even record an outgoing message.
No, you have a gorgeous voice. No more of that.
Not then. I don't know. I hated it then. Now I just don't listen anymore. I just kind of tune it out.
You filter it.
Yeah, but I had friends record an outgoing message for me. Hey, it's Victoria's phone. Like, that's how bad it was. That's totally how bad my
and you're even turning
was.
like a little red right now.
I
like
know.
You're, like,
I know.
Feeling the past trauma.
I know.
Well, you have a beautiful voice, so don't ever feel like that.
Thank you.
All right. Well, this episode is not about
we
voices.
are talking about nostalgia today, right?
I know,
so we kind of started out in the right way.
So this goes back a couple of episodes. We were talking about, I think I brought up this mascara that my mom used to have. It was in a purple tube and it had a little dial on the bottom, and you could dial up how much.
To my husband,
mascara.
And he goes, my mom used to use that.
And I'm telling you, so then we started talking about some of the beauty products that we remember and that we miss. And then it just so happened I was browsing around on Instagram, as you know, we all do. And I found this account that I sent to you, Victoria, about discontinued beauty.
Yes.
And I started laughing because we had also talked about the Prescriptives brand, which was a brand from I think around circa 2010. And they would give you a quiz.
Oh, I feel
and they would
even before that.
It was probably even before. Maybe it went out of business in 2010. But Prescriptives would look at your skin, they'd look at your eye color, your tone, and they would come up with your prescription for what colors and what skincare products you should use. And it was a line that was very popular for about 12 seconds. Mm-hmm. And now it no longer is in existence. So we thought, wouldn't it be fun to talk about some of the items we remember growing up, some of those beauty favorites, and, like the Bonnie Bell, right? The Bonnie Bell Dr. Pepper lip
Oh,
gloss.
yes.
Those kind of items that
Dr.
don't exist
Pepper.
anymore. It's the best flavor.
Pepper. I don't remember Dr. Pepper lip gloss. I don't remember that. But do you remember Juicy Tubes from Lancome?
Oh, absolutely. Juicy Tubes are great. I still might have one floating around somewhere, like a hot
it's
pink
so
one.
old.
It's like cracked and crusty. When it comes to, and we really like to have you interact with us on social media. If you have a discontinued product you remember, or maybe something growing up with, you can find us at On Air Victoria, at Jennifer Horn Radio on Instagram, and of course, Beauty Pop Pod on Instagram as well. Give us a follow and tell your friends. But in the lip world, Bonnie Bell was no joke. Like Dr. Pepper flavored was the best. And then I started thinking, and I actually had to Google this because when I was little, like probably 7 or 8 or 9, when you just start realizing that boys are there and you just start realizing that people like kiss and do gross stuff like that. There was a product called Kissing Potion, and it was the jam. Do you remember Maybelline Kissing Potion?
I feel like this is familiar.
Yeah, it was a clear glass tube, had like a painted design on the outside. It had a rollerball.
Was it a rollerball?
Yes,
rollerball. I remember this.
It was like bubble gum. Maybelline made Kissing Potion bubble gum. And that was like the minute you got that at like probably maybe not 6 or 8, but like
junior
10, 11,
high?
12. This was like
or
a
even
rite
before
of
that.
passage.
Okay, middle school. Yeah.
And you just thought that was going to be like the key to finding your first boyfriend and getting your first kiss. Didn't work for me. But it did taste good.
God. You're bringing, oh my God, you're okay. So I did not, just behind the scenes, Jen has written a lot of stuff down. I did not write anything down.
I just started brainstorming and one went to another.
So I'm thinking as we're going, do you remember a similar product called Lip Smackers?
Yes, that was Bonnie Bell. That was the Bonnie Bell.
That was
Lip
Bonnie
Smackers.
Bell. Okay.
Dr. Pepper flavor was like the one that was really good. And the other one, and this one I remember clear as day, and maybe you guys do too. This one came a little bit later. So this was after the Kissing Potion. This was after Bonnie Bell Lip Smackers. This was, I'm going to say I was, probably the early 90s. They were called Kissing Coolers. And they were these little bullet lip glosses that put very little color on your lip, a little bit maybe. But they each had a flavor, and they had, like, when you twisted up the tube, the color was marbleized. So like the grape had like a pink and a purple marbleized together. My favorite, and I can still taste it on my lips. That's how much I love this. Mm-hmm. It was Peppermint Twist. And you twisted it up and it was like pink and white marbleized on the lipstick. It looked really pretty. It gave you just a little pink tint. But the taste, that peppermint lip gloss, oh my gosh.
Isn't it funny to think back on like before anyone talked about quote unquote clean beauty, like the chemicals that we ingested?
Oh, like the delicious peppermint that probably took out one of my ovaries. Yeah.
I read something somewhere about how much lip gloss, like how many pounds of lip gloss we actually ingest every year. And it's a lot. Like it's so much more than you would ever think.
I've eaten 5 points worth from Weight Watchers of lip gloss today. Because I'm constantly reapplying. But yeah, those were my favorite. Those were the best like little things that I remember just always having and constantly, like obsessively putting them on my lips. And at different ages, it was like Lip Smackers first, then the Kissing Potion, then it was the Kissing Cooler. Yeah, that took me all the way into like 21, I think.
Wow. You were definitely a lip girl.
Yeah, definitely
you had
all
all
lip
the
girl.
Lip products.
Okay, I have another one for you.
Okay.
Nail polish.
Okay.
Do you remember when Hard Candy came out and the nail polish that was like the crazy colors with all the glitter? It was really the first time glitter became like a big deal.
Oh yeah,
in nail
remember
polish.
This. Yep.
And I was all about it. And plus, it came with the free plastic ring. And there was something about it. That was in the late 90s. So that was very like the Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera thing.
Yes.
For me, I was in my late teens at that point, and it was like that was kind of the stuff. You wore it with like your plaid skirt and your button-down shirt and your plastic ring and your glitter nail polish. It was good.
Was that your Catholic school uniform?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
All 12 years, baby.
Or did you just dress like Britney in the Baby One More Time video?
Yeah, and then in college, I dressed like Britney because that was just the thing.
You already had the clothes.
Platform Mary Janes. Remember those two?
Oh, yeah. Yep. All my cousins in Ireland, everybody went to Catholic school, but my female cousins, that was like, the plaid skirt, the shirt, the platform Doc Martin Mary Janes. Like that was the look. That was totally the look. And I think that was kind of global. If you were in Catholic
totally
school,
global.
Yeah, you were wearing that look.
Yeah, you had the Doc Martens, or you had Converse for a while. That was also really good. And then sometimes, like if you were really fancy, like some of the preppy girls would wear loafers with socks pulled up.
Right.
We were weird, like so bizarre. It's like Catholic school glam. We should come up with a category of
my brother went to a Catholic high school, and they had, I forget what the boys had to wear, basic stuff, but the girls all had, the plaid skirts and like the typical sort of uniform. Some of the skirts like were so short.
We had a rule. You had to get on your knees. I always thought
there were rules, but
yeah, you had to get on your knees and you had to make sure that your skirt touched the ground.
Oh,
if
wow.
Your skirt, when you were on your knees, didn't, and otherwise, I mean, everybody still tried to roll it because we would roll our skirts. That was the trick to Catholic school uniforms.
From the waist, right? You roll
absolutely. And so they'd say, "Oh, Jennifer, your skirt's looking a little short today," and then you'd have to go to the bathroom and unroll it. But that trick actually saved me later in life because I was on a tour of Europe, not a tour, but my friends and I decided to take a trip to Europe when I was in my early 20s, and it was hot. It was summertime. We were in Italy and we're going to the Vatican, as good Catholic girls should do. And I was wearing a sundress. Didn't think anything of it, but apparently the sundress was too short for the Vatican, and this awful woman kicked me out of the Vatican for too short of a skirt. And it wasn't even short. I mean, it wasn't anything crazy.
Okay, so this might be the coolest thing I've ever heard you say. I have a friend who was booted from the Vatican for dress code violations.
This woman had it. She had it out for me.
That's badass.
And so I tried to like sneak back in again, and she's like, and she shook her head at me. So I had to go to the bathroom. And finding a bathroom in the Vatican, you have to walk all over the place. So I actually took this and this is my Catholic schoolgirl roll style. I actually had to take my dress off my shoulders, strap it around my bra so that the dress would go lower. And thank God I had a cardigan with me. So I buttoned it over the top of me so she wouldn't kick me out for showing, flashing.
Wow. It never ever would have dawned on me that the Vatican, which even as a non-Catholic, that's a place I would love to visit just for the art collection alone.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
I bet it's incredible. I had no idea that there's a dress code.
Oh, yeah.
I know when you visit the pyramids in Egypt, you're supposed to wear all white, and even though a lot of people don't, but it's, just in deference to where you are and the whole thing. So it would make sense, but I never thought about that. Wow.
Yeah, I think you actually even had to have sleeves. I think you had to have like no short shorts, no short dresses, and maybe even sleeves. I'm not sure about that. Maybe it's changed because this was back in, I want to say maybe like 2000. I mean, it was a long time ago.
Do you think the new Pope has maybe lightened up
loosened
on the dress
up a bit? Maybe so. I mean, really though, that trip to Italy, oh my gosh, the gold, it makes you wonder if all the money should be going into gold, but that's probably a conversation for a different time. But it is
when we do a financial episode.
I know what's better used
save up for more beauty products.
Right.
Put everything in gold.
Feeding the poor or putting gold leaf on your walls. I don't know, but it is beautiful. And the art is gorgeous. Okay. So back to our discontinued beauty items now. And also just, I thought we had to talk about hair stuff. Oh, before we move on from hard candy nails though, remember Lee press-on nails? And
of course.
There's a resurgence of the press-on nail that I think are a lot better. But I remember as a little kid,
that's what got me through. Impress is the brand that you can get them at CVS and everywhere. They're incredible. And that literally got me through all of COVID because of nail salons. I'm in New Jersey, you're in LA, and probably similar. Nail salons were closed down for a long time. And then just with, COVID in general, a lot of nail salons they weren't really that safe, because you're so close to another person and all that. But
and you're all indoors.
Those Impress nails, I feel like when I get my nails done, it lifts any bad mood immediately. It's for me, it's the fastest mood. What would you call it? Razor? A mood booster. Yeah, there you go. It's the fastest mood booster. Like, I feel like Elle Woods when she's like crying and Warner breaks up with her and she goes in and she's like, it's an emergency when she goes into the nail salon. That's how I feel. Like, I understood that scene so well. But so when I would just get like bummed out, we couldn't go anywhere. I got all those Impress nails and they're incredible. I had them stay on for 8 days.
No way. Really?
You're not supposed to keep them on for for more than a week because your nails do need to breathe. But those are really incredible nails.
Did they have the glue or the adhesive sticky things?
They're already pre-glued. It's like a stamp, so you just peel off the thing, you press it onto your nail, and it's a pressurized glue. So you press, the more you press, like the longer it lasts. And they're really easy to take off. They didn't damage my nails at all.
Did you have the sticky stuff on afterwards? How'd you get that off?
It stays on the nail. It stays on the fake nail. So it pops right off. I'm telling you, I was so, I literally, and like the name Impress is the perfect name because I was so actually impressed by the quality of the nails.
During the pandemic, I bought a ton of them, but I was always, then I've like chickened out at the end thinking, I don't want all those little, because with the Lee press-on nails, and this is probably why they're not available anymore, they would leave that like sticky residue.
There's a residue.
And that was gross, and I never wanted to have to deal with that. So I stayed away.
The Impress nails, also, they're very easy to file and shape. Mm-hmm. And so I loved them. And I just wore them. Actually, it's so funny. I didn't have time to get a manicure. My nails, before I have the hard, now I have the hard gels, thanks to you.
Yes.
And which I am loving my nails. But we had to go to a wedding. It was like September 8th. It was a Thursday wedding. I think we talked about me being hungover the next day.
Yes, we did.
But in the car, this is how easy the Impress nails are. I didn't have time to get to the salon. In the car ride to the wedding, I popped on a full set of Impress nails.
Oh my gosh.
In the car. And they spilled once. And Lewis had to pull the car over and dig, literally, they spilled onto the driver's side where he was driving. And so I was like, honey, you got to pull over. I'm missing a pinky. So he had to pull over, and he's like there in his suit, and he's like picking up fake nails off the floor of the car.
He's a good man. You got a good man.
He is a very, very good
producer
man.
Of this podcast. So we give him props for that.
Yes, he is a very good man. But those nails are legit. But the Lee press-ons,
they were the originators. Yes. And those were pretty horrific. But I can, I had a life ambition when I was a young child. I think I've shared with you, but for anybody new, I wanted to be a checker at Kmart and a ballerina.
Those are two lofty goals.
Yeah. And I guess I wanted to have like 2 part-time jobs, part-time ballerina, part checker at Kmart. But I loved the cash register, and I loved watching the ladies with the long nails sit there and click, 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 click on the keys of the cash register. So that's where it started for me, is I'd put those Lee nails on, and then I'd hit the calculator real hard.
Isn't that so funny, the things that influence you when you're a little kid?
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny.
Anybody, like, I wouldn't wear, my mom was just reminiscing with me the other day. She's like, I couldn't get you in tennis shoes when you were a child. Like, I wore heels, like little tiny, like stumpy heels, because I would not wear them when I was like 6.
So you were the OG Surrey Cruise.
I think so.
Remember Katie Holmes got so much flack because Surrey was spotted in heels, and I mean, I don't remember them being like, they weren't like Jean Bonnet. They were
just like a little tiny thing. Yeah. It was not even an inch probably, but at least it clicked when you walked. All right. So on to hair. And there are a couple of things. Salon Selectives, which recently came back, and I think it's now gone again. But Salon Selectives was like a huge deal. And then there were the Clairol Benders. Do you remember the hot curling iron sticks that you wrapped and made into like an O in your hair? And they were supposed to give you nice curls, and they did not.
I never had hair longer than chin length. Like,
got it.
And which is funny because now I have that same bob cut again.
Yeah.
But I grew my hair defiantly long, like Mormon sisterhood long in my 20s, because I think my mom had never let me have longer hair because she always said it didn't look as good as the shorter hair.
Yeah.
So, how mothers and daughters, like mothers can say stuff to daughters that, my friend of mine who's my hairstylist. Yeah. And he's like, I'm telling you, he's like, the stuff that mothers will say to daughters in the salon, he's like, it amazes me that why all you girls aren't in therapy.
It's true. It kills you. I know that I still get wigged out about my hair, pardon the pun, because my mom and it would always be on picture day. The night before, she would jack me up. She would take out this big plastic canister of hair gel, and she'd slather it into my like fine blonde hair. And then she'd wrap it around curlers, and then I'd have to sleep on them. And so the next day I would look like, I don't know, Orphan Annie or something. I mean, it was just hair curls for days. And so I have no good pictures of myself, little chubby kid with this hair everywhere and like a gap in her teeth. I mean, it was just horrific what she did to me.
I do remember those, they were almost like, it was like a firmer, styrofoam, right? Those they were like a noodle thing,
yeah. Oh
right?
yeah,
That you
the
could wrap
benders.
around
Yes.
to curl. I remember other friends who had long hair who were allowed to have long hair.
The problem is that the first time you used them, they were board straight, they were stick straight, and they were great. And then you could actually form them. And I think the first time it worked, but from what I recall, it was really hard to get them straightened out again. So then you get all these extra little divots and pockets in your hair, and they never looked like the commercial ever, ever, ever.
Have you, throughout your life, have you fallen victim to buying hair gadgets? Because there's so many that have come along. Like
I have the beach waver at home. It's that's
beach
actually
waver.
the best one.
That one
that's
works,
the best
right?
one. It's expensive, but it is the best one that I've ever
That's
purchased.
the one with the double barrels, right?
No, actually, the beach waver is the one that has a barrel, and you can get various sizes. And the clip on it is actually very short. It's probably the size of your pinky instead of like running up and down the iron.
Okay.
And then and it takes a long time. This is why I don't really use it all that much. But it is the best if you have time. And you take a piece of your hair and you put it on the clamp, and then you press the button and it rolls up for you.
Okay, so it's an automatic. Yeah, I remember. I've seen that.
That really is good because it changes directions. It makes your curls look great if you really have the time. In the morning, I'm always running around during the week, so I don't have much time. Yeah, but that was the best one. Definitely
there's one
the best one.
There's one that I've seen that has a double barrel.
Yeah, like the 3 that does the waves.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it's 3 barrels. Yeah. And the last time I was in my salon, one of the stylists was using it on a client, and I was like, "That looks incredible."
Yeah, I bought one years ago, and it was awful. It just turned out like a crimping iron, sort of, except with bigger. Yeah. But I've been seeing so many of them, and I feel like the products may be improved. So I actually just bought one that I have not even opened the package on yet. But maybe that'll be the topic. Maybe we can do some hair products because I will review it, and then I'll let you know if it's worth it or not.
Absolutely. I love that. Can we go back to something you just said that I have not thought about, and I have not heard these 2 words in decades? Salon selectives. I know. Was that great? There is. It smelled good. Oh, there is no better smell. And as soon as you said it, that olfactory memory, it just hit me so hard. The smell of Salon Selective's shampoo and conditioner. It was
awesome.
It was like a strawberry sweet kind of, I don't even know how to describe the smell, but it was incredible. Like it was intoxicating, that smell. And actually,
it stuck with you. It didn't go away throughout the day. It was great.
Like if you weren't using it in middle school, like who were you?
I know. I remember it had like an A and a B. Like you got to like mix and match the shampoo and conditioner. So you get again, one of the prescription beauty products, right?
Right.
Oh, I want for fine hair, for color treatment, you could like mix and match your selection.
Oh my God. You just blew my mind. Okay. Next.
I'm actually going to say something controversial here.
Okay.
I actually think Salon Selective smells better than herbal essences. And I love the smell of herbal essence.
Hands down. You're totally right.
But it was so good. It was so good. It was the best one.
Herbal essences, that's another name I have not heard in ages.
See how terrible my hair looks right now?
No, I'm using it. It looks good.
Oh, thanks. Well, I feel like it's just been very frizzy. And I decided to go for nostalgia, and I was in a pinch. And let's be honest, I needed shampoo from Instacart. And I'm too cheap now to stop using it. So I'm like punishing myself to get to the end of the bottle. I think OG.
Wait, you're using herbal essences like in 2022?
Right now. Oh, it's redone. It's like a whole
I didn't even
know
it still existed.
It's reinvented, girl. It's reinvented. And
does it still smell the same?
Yes. But they have all these different formulations. And so I made a bad mistake. Rookie move with the herbal essence. I went for the grapefruit and mint because it was supposed to be like a bodybuilding one or maybe it was color treated. I don't know, but it's grapefruit and mint. Doesn't smell as good. It smells fine, but not as good.
I wouldn't think grapefruit mixed with mint would be a good thing anyway.
And it's just a lot of frizz. I've just noticed it's just a lot of frizz. So
it probably strips your hair.
Oh, I'm sure. Can't you tell?
I think your hair looks great, so I can't see. I did not know herbal essences was.
But how silly! It probably cost $6 total. It cost $6 total, and I still won't throw it out and get something new. I'm like, nope, you got to fix it. I mean, that's my Depression era grandparents that are like in my ear, going, "You can't throw away half a bottle of shampoo."
Oh my God!
When I probably
you don't have a dog
12 bottles under the sink. What was that?
I was going to say, and you're not supposed to use human shampoo on dogs, but like you don't even have a dog that you could use it on.
No, and JoJo's not into the bath. I know, my little cat.
All right, and so don't like that.
So finally on my list, okay, countdown extra here. 2004, Jessica Simpson's dessert line. You remember that?
Jessica Simpson's dessert line?
It was like a body mousse that left behind glitter, but you could also eat it.
Oh my God.
Disgusting. It was like during the time when Newlyweds, so popular. Now, I don't think I ever had it because I think I even being like on trend and loving Jessica Simpson as I did, I don't think I could bring myself to like edible body mousse with glitter in it. It just didn't seem like a good idea. It smelled good. She had like vanilla and chocolate and something else. The vanilla was the way to go. And then the fragrances that we miss. We bought to pour one out for exclamation. Debbie Gibson's Electric Youth.
Oh,
and
okay.
Do you remember Disgust? And when I think about this now, I actually shudder. And I think I only wore it for a little bit because it was popular and then realized you got to get rid of this. Remember Sunflowers by Elizabeth Arden?
Mm-hmm. Yes. My mom used to wear Red Door by Elizabeth Arden.
Yeah,
my mom had a lot of
my
mom had a lot of nostalgic perfumes that probably don't exist anymore. I remember there was one that I liked. She always wore. There was one that I hated, and I was like, "Mom, please stop wearing that. It smells like it's awful." It was a Givenchy scent, and I don't remember what it was called, but it was bad. I don't think they make it anymore. There was one from Ralph Lauren that was really nice called Safari.
Oh, I remember the ads for that. Yeah, I definitely remember that.
Yeah, my mom was like the perfume lady. She was so since we're on nostalgia, do you remember your first perfume?
Oh yeah, it was Baby Soft or no,
I was going to say Love's Baby Soft.
It was not Baby Soft. That was second. Heaven Scent was the very first one. Do you remember Heaven Scent?
No, I don't remember that one.
Oh, it still smells good.
Love's Baby Soft was the first perfume.
That was the jam.
That was that was the first perfume I ever bought. And I don't even remember what it smells like. It was just like powder. It was just, you had to wear it. You know, you had to probably wear it. All the girls, we probably all had the same stuff
along
on,
with your Teen Spirit deodorant. It was like a good mixture of hormones, Teen Spirit, and Baby Soft. It was kind of what we all smelled like at 12. But I would always wear Debbie Gibson Electric Youth too because I loved Debbie Gibson. And the bottle was so cute with the little pink corkscrew. And then of course, everybody loved exclamation. I think anyway, it was very powdery.
I don't remember that one.
Those were all part of my teenage years growing up. That was it. And it's funny because I can still kind of smell it warmed up after I'd come home in the afternoon, like after being schooled. You can kind of smell it like warming on your clothes. It would stick with you all day. That funny. Exclamation, that baby powder smell.
Do you remember, I'm trying to think it was probably, this is not like when we were kids, but probably around the year 2000, 2001-ish. Every girl I knew wore Glow by J.Lo.
Yeah, I never did. And
I did for a short amount of time, and I just felt like it wasn't for me. Because, perfume is different on everybody.
It was kind of grapefruity, if I remember right. And I love grapefruit, but I don't know if I like to smell like grapefruit.
Yeah, that was a very popular scent. I think that may have even been her first product.
I think it was, and I think it's still available. I think you can still get that at Kohl's, can't you? The Glow perfume.
I don't know. I was wondering if they still make it because I mean she made a lot of money on that.
Yeah,
that was a really one. So
and the bottle was pretty. It was a pretty bottle for being like kind of an affordable perfume. It was a really pretty bottle.
Yeah. So let's wrap up Nostalgia Beauty. So we had both put on our Instagram pages and on the Beauty Pop account asking people like what mall stores do you remember like from back in the day? Like what doesn't exist anymore that you wish still existed? I got so many answers of Contempo Casuals.
I loved Contempo Casuals. It was so good. It was better than Express. I know Express is still out there, but Contempo Casuals was really, really good. That was a great one. I got a bunch too but it was like JC. I mean, I don't know. JC Penney was one. Some of the other ones.
Doesn't JC Penney still exist?
Yeah.
I think near me.
I think it's still there, but I guess that was one of the stores they liked in the mall. There were a few others. I have them written down here.
Okay, so one that do you remember I went through a whole phase where I would not shop at any other store in the mall except the Limited.
Oh, the Limited was really good too. Excellent.
The Limited and then the Limited 2. It was TOO.
Yes, and that was for the younger kids.
Yeah, so the Limited and Limited 2, that was huge. And then you're right. I think Express, it was all the same parent company.
Yeah.
And I think Express kind of took
You remember Wet Seal?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Do you remember Spencer's gifts?
Yes, they still have a Spencer's gift by me. And by the way, if you have a bachelorette party, that is the place to go.
Yeah.
And
it's
by
like
the
all
way,
plastic penises. That's like all they sell.
And like plastic penis straws. That's really what it is. And like some wild t-shirts. But it wasn't JCPenney. I'm sorry, JCPenney still exists. It was Broadway. Do you remember the Broadway? Did you have that in the East Coast?
No.
It was a big department store. I think Macy's ended up buying them out, and then we got Macy's. But it was Broadway, and then someone else said Robinson's May, which was originally May Company. Those were two big department stores as well that combined.
Oh, that must have been West Coast. I don't remember that.
A lot of the department stores were. And then Sanrio, which was the Hello Kitty store. Do you remember Sanrio Surprises?
No.
That was so good.
These
For the girl that loves
these
pink.
these might be more West Coast stuff.
Sanrio, I think, would have been worldwide. Do you remember? You know who Hello Kitty is, right?
Sure.
The cartoon character. Yeah. So Sanrio, they just had the store, and I think they might still have them because it's still pretty trendy, like in certain areas.
Maybe it's just called the Hello Kitty store.
Yeah.
Because I do think those exist.
Yeah, the Sanrio store. Oh my gosh. When I was a little kid, they would sell grab bags, like all random items, and you could buy them for like $15, and they'd have all kinds of stuff inside. And the apricot gum was like so delicious. You could only chew it for like 2 seconds, and then it would get hard, but that original
I have to admit, I'm like low-key worried about your health now as an adult because you ate so much chemical shit as a kid.
Just kissing potion, kissing coolers, and apricot gum from Sanrio. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Oh my God. And Jessica Simpson's edible body glitter.
Right. I'm still trying to digest the 12 pounds of plastic in my stomach.
Yeah, I know. I'm like worried about you.
I'm a sea turtle, actually.
Stick a straw up your nose and
there you go. I got one of those too.
Oh my God.
All right, guys. Well, that is our that's our nostalgic beauty, discontinued beauty episode for you. And please let us know if there's any products that you are missing that you remember kind of fondly, or that bring you back to that like place and time when you were growing up. And you can always find us on Instagram at On Air Victoria, at Jennifer Horn Radio, and at Beauty Pop Pod. We'll put up a box too. Maybe we can get some more contributions to this. And don't forget to like the podcast, write us a review if you can. We're always so appreciative of that. And we'll see you next time. Bye.